This is the second part of my Leo Express video for the trip from Prague-Krakow to Krakow Glowny. And I had to split this into two parts. The first thing that you see in this video is the Petrovice u Karvine station, which is very hard to see. The station signs aren't visible in this video. So here we have some Polish electrics used for mostly freight, although the designation of the class is mixed traffic. There's another Czech electric, which you can read about in the description. My camera cut out on me. So we're approaching that weirdly pronounced Polish station, which will be the first Polish station stop. And you can see the spelling here. So if you know Polish, you know what that means, but non-Polish speakers, that's a very difficult word to pronounce. Those are hoppers again. Again, quite different from the hoppers you would see in the US for the most part. And there is a CTL Logistics Class 182 electric, originally Czech. I know it's specifically Czech and not Polish because I looked that up. Or Slovak for that matter. 182s were mostly Czech, and in any case, the ones that CTL got were all Czech. So there's another one of those Polish electrics. It's very hard to read the class, but you can see it's an ET22. I think all of these classic Polish electrics I got were ET22s, come to think of it. So there's the station, or the station platform anyway. And we're still a long way from Krakow. They're not even marking it on the sign. So it was sunset. So I got some nice footage of the sunset anyway. That dirt over in the upper right there is from the window. Apologies for that. To reiterate, you can look up the locomotives and locomotive classes that I caught in this video in the description. I can't really talk fast enough to describe everything. Now we do have to turn off at Katowice to go specifically to Krakow. And we didn't get to Katowice until it was already completely dark out. And once the sunset went down, I couldn't get very much footage at all because of the reflections on the windows. Not to mention that it was dark. So they switched the language over to Polish on the announcements, as you can hear, instead of Czech. So another place name I can't pronounce will be the next stop. Here I got a little bit of footage inside the train because there were relatively few passengers this late at night this far into Poland. There was mostly business in the Czech Republic for this service. I had the coach pretty much to myself in the later hours of the trip. Which might explain the low ticket price, actually. They might be trying to fill those seats with really cheap tickets. And to reiterate, we didn't really run into any major problems. We ran a bit late by about 20 minutes, but overall, no big deal. Train was clean, it was comfortable. Really no complaints. This was also half a year before the COVID-19 pandemic, so that wasn't really the reason the train was sparsely patronized. I think it's just that this is a very, very long trip. It was kind of an off day and so on. Most of the passengers that day were actually in the Czech Republic before we crossed the border. So, another station stop. Piscina? Maybe that's how you'd pronounce that? I caught this Polish EMU here. Apparently these go by more than one class designation. Sometimes they're called EN76s, sometimes they're called 22WEs. Maybe somebody from PKP could clarify why that is. I don't know exactly how that system works because, to reiterate, I haven't spent very much time in Poland. So now you can see the reflection problem. There's Tychy. Tychy is the next station stop on the route, and I can pronounce the name if it's pronounced the same as Czech. Then we're coming into Katowice. This is the other station for Katowice. And there's the main station for Katowice with the old steam era sign. And you can only just barely see it in this video, but there's this huge train shed over it. And Myslovice is the next one. But by this point I wasn't able to get very good footage because of the darkness and the reflections. Jaworzno, I think that's called. Trzebina, or Trzebinia, I guess you would pronounce that. And then another one I can't pronounce. And Krakow, finally. But it was a little ways away yet. This was just the announcement over the board that we were coming into Krakow. So I actually jumped ahead in the video to when we were coming into the platforms at Glowny. Glowny actually has a newer section that you're seeing here and an older section that's now a museum. It's the old station building. You'll see that in a minute. And there's our train. And that's one of the locals. And there's a station sign for Krakow. And there's the old building, which is right next to a big shopping center, actually. Relatively clean, well-maintained area. The station was supposedly restored relatively recently. And that's about all I have for the heavy rail part. But I'll cover the trams next.